Cool.
Yo, it's your boy Miles Cunningham. I am blessed to be here with Ed Zone.
What's good, everybody?
Is a multi-tiered businessman, philosopher, street philosopher. He's out there killing shit. He be joining me on the Instagram lives, dropping gems all the time. So it's a pleasure to be here with my man Ed Zone. What's going on with you, baby?
Hey, I'm doing my thing, man. Like I said before, literally learning something new every day. It's good to be here. Thank you, Miles, for giving me the time to be on your platform, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You know what it is, man. Listen, because behind the scenes we was talking, he was like, I'm literally learning, something new every day. Give us an example of something that you learn every day. Because I mean, people say that, but like what kind of things you learning?
Okay, so like all different types of stuff. Like I'm big into like stocks and finance and stuff like that. So like I'm always researching stuff on like new companies to invest in, new companies to check out. Even interactions with women, I'm learning like different like nuances and different things. Like when I say certain things, little patterns of like how they respond to certain things I say and do, things like that. Things on my job. Yes, I do have a 9 to 5, among other things that I do. Like I'm learning stuff there. Like there's so many things to learn every single time. That is why it's like I don't understand when people say they're bored, because if you're constantly looking for something to do or learning something new, you'll never be bored.
Can't be bored. Speaking of stocks, right? I just figured out this new strategy on my Robinhood, right? And the strategy is like, okay, for example, when you're looking at your portfolio and you can actually tap on you can tap on the red or green.
Right.
And here, like, so when you tap on it, it gives you the option of what you see for my phone is dirty as shit. What you see for the day, right?
Yeah.
So it says last price, percentage change, your equity, today's return, total percentage change.
Right.
I figured out that, in the interest of buying low, selling high, I figured out that if you do percentage change for the day, right, and around in the middle of the day or early afternoon, like 2-3 o'clock, that's when the extremities happen. You understand?
Right.
Go through all your stocks, and anything that has more than a negative percentage change of like 3 to 4%. So anything for like 4%, -5%, -6% or more. If you're doing cost averaging, that's a good way to invest. So you look through your stocks and find the stocks that swung all the way negative, because if it's swung down, that means you're buying low, to allow the swing to go back up, because you don't want to wait for your stocks to blast up and then you buy then. That's not smart.
Right. You always want to maximize profits, right? So like it's the old saying, buy low, sell high, or buy low and keep it high, and then wait for the price to drop some more and buy some more. Like the biggest trap a lot of people fall into is as soon as they see the price drop, they panic and they start selling.
And they sell out. Yeah, nah.
No, because like what you're doing, you need to do is you need to buy the company, not the stock. So like when you see the stock going up and down, I don't care if it drops 2% in a day or whatever. If I know the company is solid based on what my research, because I'm never going to know every single thing. I'm not an insider, right? I'm not the CEO, CFO, whatever. But based on what I know, if I know that company is solid, I'm still going to hold on to it, even if it dropped a lot that day.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You check the percentage, and if it goes down, like, because if you have a stock, then like you said, you buy the company, not the stock. You understand? So if you have a stock, that means you're in it for the long haul, right? So when it swings down low, like I said, anything negative 4% or higher, you want to put some money into that, because now it's swinging on the low end. So now you want to buy, especially if the price you bought it at before was higher.
Yeah.
Especially if the price you bought it at before was higher. So now, so say you bought it at 10, now it's down to 8, 7, 7.5.
Right.
You definitely need to buy it now, so you can, bring down your cost average. But anyway,
right? No, exactthis you got it.
Because you kind of sparked my brain when you said you've been learning something new every day. But this is your topic, right? So I want to let you shine. So go ahead and we could get into the title and the topic and everything.
Much respect. So like today I just wanted to talk about a problem I've been seeing over and over and over again. It's called having an agenda when you approach women, right? Having a strategy, having a plan, having step-by-step solutions to what and instructions for yourself that you want to have when you approach a woman, right? So there's this chick I'm dealing with now, right? And I like to ask questions. I like to ask women questions to get the truth from the horse's mouth, because women do tend to be honest with you when they're into you. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I ask her is like, what do guys say when they approach you? Because she's always telling me when she's on the train, when she's going back and forth to work, whatever, guys come up to her a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like they try to start conversations. They say, "Hey, how you doing?" And then they stop. So they literally they will see her walking there. They will muster up the courage to walk over to her and talk to her and say something to her. And then they will have nothing to say after that. They'll just stand there or sit there staring at her until it's time for them to get off at their stop.
Oh my God.
And she says this happens to her almost every single day. Like, dudes just have no clue what to say when they approach her, right? So, and even a lot of your callers, and this is absolutely no disrespect to the callers, this is just objective. Like, it's an objective criticism. Like, they have no idea what to say to a woman to get what they want.
Right.
So when you see a woman, right, you don't know her personality, you don't know her intelligence, you don't know if she is a good person, a bad person, if she has integrity or not. All you know is what you see, right? And maybe the way she carries herself, the way she dresses, whatever. So when you see her, obviously that first primal instinct is going to take over. You're going to want sex with her, right? And then depending on how she speaks, how the interaction goes, you may or may not want more. But you want that sexual interaction as soon as possible. There's the issue that comes up with most dudes is they don't know how to get it. So they they approach a woman, if they finally muster up the courage, which less and less guys are doing nowadays. And then when they do approach her, the first thing they break out with is friendly conversation, right? They'll break out with like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you come here often? Where are you from? Were you born in the city? Do you live here? Which borough do you live in?" Like all that like friendly stuff that's barely activating her mind, let alone other parts of her body, right? So now, on top of that, some of these guys lie to themselves and they say, "Oh, yeah. I do flirt with women. I said she has nice shoes, or I said she has a nice dress," and they call that flirting, right? But that's not flirting. Flirting has to have sexual language in it, and that doesn't mean you got to beat her over the head and say, "Yo, I want to fuck you." You don't got to say that, but you can find creative ways to say it, right? And because so many guys live in a state of loneliness, a lot of dudes are very lonely out here, whether they want to admit it or not. That's why they find solace in Netflix and video games and all that stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with it, because I watch Netflix. I used to play video games, right? It's cool, but a lot of guys find comfort in that to try to fill up the loneliness that's in their life. Right. So when you live in that constant lonely state of being, and when you live in that constant state of like scarcity, right? You're terrified of a woman telling you no. You're terrified of finally mustering up the courage to trudge over to a woman and say, "Hi, my name is Bob. Do you come here often?" And she goes, "I'm not interested," or she ignores you, or she says she has a boyfriend and all that stuff. You're terrified of hearing the word no, because now it means you got to muster up the energy and courage again to go approach another girl next week, because you ain't going to do it this week. You're going to think about this one rejection for the rest of the week. And then next week, you might muster up the courage again to speak to the next attractive woman you see. And it all goes back to having an agenda, because game, for all those guys out here that say, "You don't need game is bullshit, you don't need that." All game is a strategy. Every single successful person in history has had strategies for their life, right? Even some of the greatest inventions we know that happened to be invented by accident, there was some type of strategic thinking behind it. Right. You look at something as simple as the ice cream cone. That was invented by accident. Right? A dude wrapped a waffle around the bottom of some ice cream because he was tired of it dripping all over his hands, and that became the ice cream cone. You see me? A simple thing like that, but there was some strategic thinking behind that. Right. See what I'm saying? So the way you do things in one area of life is how you do things in other areas of life. And you notice a lot of guys who are afraid to talk to women or have no clue what to say. They draw a blank when they talk to a woman. Right. A lot of those guys tend to have blanks in other areas of their life. They might be working a job, but they don't really like that job, right? They feel lost. They feel like they're just drifting along in life, right? Them and their friends, when they get together, they don't really do much. They don't really talk about much. They don't really build much or anything like that. They just drift along. They might smoke a little weed. They might play some video games. They might go out to the club and stand against the wall and watch the girls dance all night. But there's not really any real plan to what they're doing, right? So let's say you see a woman that you like, right? And you approach her. Me, you know, I write poetry and all that stuff. So I try to find poetic ways to talk to chicks or whatever. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But hey, I'm gonna still keep going regardless, right? So I'll go to a chick and I like to compare chicks to food because food is very sensual. Food appeals to all of the five senses.
We all gotta eat. We all gotta eat.
Hey, we all gotta eat food and other things. Yeah, like it appeals to all five senses. You know what I'm saying? So like, so when you like meet a chick, right, and you're bold enough to give her a nickname, because I give them nicknames related to food. I just met this chick. But I'm giving her a nickname related to food right away, right? When you're bold enough to do that, she's like, "Oh, you calling me that off the chart? You
ain't getting off that easy, nigga. I need an example, nigga.
Oh, you give?
Yeah, I need a real time example. Let's go.
Basics.
You see she bad, and then you walk up to her and say what?
Listen, I will literally go to a chick. Like I did this last week. I went up to a chick and said, "You're looking like a full course meal right now. Your lips are the appetizer, your body's the entree, and the rest is the dessert." Right. Ooh. So like I'll go up to a chick and say stuff like that, yo. And the chick, she was like, she said, "Huh?" And she started, and then she started laughing, and then we started talking or whatever. And I got the like, obviously, like, I gave her my number because I wanted to see if she was just like enjoying the attention or did she have any real type of interest underneath it all. So I gave her my number, and she texted me later on, and then we set something up for later, right? This other chick that I told you about that I'm dealing with right now, that says that dudes come up to her and have no idea what to say. She I call it like I call it chocolate or whatever. People could think it's corny, people could think whatever, but I call it chocolate. Bro. Don't worry about it. Like I said, I don't give a shit. Like, but I call it chocolate, right? Okay. And so the funny thing about her, right? I'm gonna give examples because here we don't talk about statistics and studies showing all that stuff. We use real life examples. So with her, we met up at the park or whatever on like a first date type of thing, and yeah, we met up at the park like a first date type of thing. So like we're sitting by like a fountain or whatever, right? We're sitting by like a fountain, and she's putting a little bit of distance between us. She's putting like space between us, right? Like a physical barrier. And I'm like, why are you sitting so far away? Why are you sitting all the way over there? And she's like, oh, and she scooches over like a couple steps, right? She like a couple, like maybe like a foot. She scooches over, but she's still putting a barrier. I'm like, and she's facing dead ahead. So instead of looking at me, she's looking straight ahead. Right. So now I'm like, I say to her, why don't you turn and face me? I said, turn and face me, right? Yes. I stopped asking them questions a long time ago. I said, turn and face me. So she turned and faced me, but her knees were still separating us. So she put her knees between us. And now she's doing some goofy shit, right? So what I did.
She's stubborn. She holding on for dear life.
So I leaned forward, right? I leaned forward, and she leaned forward, and then we just started making out. Right? So once we did that, I'm like, yo, let's go someplace a little bit more private. So we went to a more private part of the park and started making out some more. And then it started getting like real heavy, like real heavy. Till people walking by was like, oh my, blah 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 blah, right? So then so we started doing that, and then I abruptly just pulled back. I'm like, all right, time to go, because she was like, oh. I gotta catch my train. I gotta catch my train to go to work in the morning. Blah 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 blah. She was saying that before, so I'm like, and I had the same thing too. I had to wake up early for my own reasons too. So I'm like, all right, I pulled away. Time to go. She was like, and then she was like, she stumbled after that, so and had to grab my hand because her legs were weak. So like she grabbed my hand. So now we're walking back to the train station, and I said to her, I'm gonna give you a homework assignment tonight. Send me a video of you playing with your button, and I want to see those lips. You shave, right? She's like, I'm like, yes. Show me how shaved those lips down there are, and I want to see that Southern River flowing. So show me that video, right? I'm like, I was like, that's your homework assignment. And she said, okay. And then like on the train ride home, I'm like, well, so what you gonna send me for your homework assignment? And she's like, a video of me playing with the lips and my button, blah 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 blah. Mind you, before this, all she was doing was talking about like friendly bullshit ass conversation like that I didn't give a shit about, right? So now she's like and biting her lips like, while we was kissing, she was moaning like, ah. I'm like, damn, I'm like, you never kissed nobody before, but so now we get home. So now I'm back at my crib. A couple hours later, she hits me up. She's saying, she texts me saying, I just got back, but she said, I just got back, but I just started my period, but I already had a video, so I'm gonna send you that anyway. Is that cheating on the assignment? I'm like, listen, it's supposed to be live, but I'm gonna let you slide this time. And she sends me the video of her, diddling in that thing, right? And then I'm like, you had some nice triple D's too. Let me see those as well, because those got to be new. And then she sends me the picture of the triple D's, because I like them thick. It is what it is. Yeah. But
that's that West Indian shit. We can't help.
Yeah, that's part of it. It can't be helped, yo. That's like not my only type, but it's one of my types. But yeah. So mind you, this chick. So I just say all that to say this about having an agenda, because I knew what I wanted from this chick. The first time I saw her, like, I know exactly what I want from you. So this is what I'm gonna do to get it, right? And while I'm kissing her, I'm talking to her while I'm kissing her, like I'm whispering in her ear. I'm doing all that stuff, but anyway, like I guess that stuff people got to pay for different programs.
That's more strategy.
But yeah. So while I'm doing that, like I said, I'm talking to her while I kiss her, all that stuff. But mind you, this chick went from putting barriers between us to sending me those videos after the first date.
Exactly.
Now here's the thing too. Here's the thing. I knew, even though she was like playing shy and playing coy and all that, I knew she had some interest because she invested early. What do I mean by she invested early? We were supposed to meet up at 6 p.m. She didn't show up until like 6:20 or something like that. So I'm like, you're late. You owe me. And she goes, okay. And I'm like, all right, you owe me dinner, right? So she goes in and she literally buys dinner for both of us at this place. So I'm like, okay, she's willing to invest a little bit. That shows that she has some type of interest, right? Because my motto is, if she don't invest, there's no interest, right? So she does that. And I'm like, okay, I could work with this chick a little bit. Then she starts asking me questions like, so what about all these other girls you're dealing with? Just assuming. I didn't really say nothing about that. But she starts assuming that. So I'm like, okay, this chick sees me a certain way. So now is where my agenda can take effect. See what I'm saying? And then, that's like an example of actually taking steps to get what you want, rather than just throwing stuff against a wall and hoping it sticks and saying, oh, where were you born? Oh, you were born there? When was the last time you've been there? What do you do at work? Do you like your job? Is it something you really want to do? What did you major in college? What did you major in high school? You have a scar on your elbow. How did you get that scar on your elbow? Oh my gosh, you got that scar on your elbow? Like stuff like that dries them up. Like the Sahara, the Gobi, and the Mojave Desert all combined. And they get that thousands of times a month.
Right.
That's constantly when she said to me, oh, there was one time she said, a dude walked up to her and he said, oh, like he tried to like holler at her. She was like, no, I'm not interested. Thank you. Like, mind you, this chick is super feminine, like ultra. She's so feminine. It's like, even if a guy like is someone who repulses her, she's still going to try to find a way to politely decline the guy. Like she's that type of chick. So like she was saying, the guy tried to holler and she was like, oh, I'm not interested or whatever. But then he was like, oh, but I could tell you're not like these other New York girls just by the way you act or whatever. But that's all he had to say, and he walked away. You know what I'm saying? But it's basically an epidemic of men being out of touch with what it is to be a man. And listen, like, I haven't reached my peak yet in any area of life. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but I'm applying what I'm learning to my life, because I realize that the phrase knowledge is power is incomplete, right? Incomplete. That is an incomplete phrase. Knowledge is only powerful when it's applied. You can know everything in the world, but if you never apply that knowledge to improve your life and later on the lives of others, because you got to improve yourself before you can help other people, really. You know what I'm saying? If you don't ever apply that knowledge, it's wasted knowledge and it's empty. So when you understand that knowledge is power when it's applied, that's when you start to grow. That's when you really start to improve. That's when you really start to see, the highest level of yourself.
I want to bring some attention to something that you mentioned, and it's that you talked about the fact that you write poetry, So therefore you purposefully add that into your skill set. You add that into your mouthpiece when you're interacting or approaching women. You understand? Right. And that is like, that's like the main theme of what I try to tell dudes, bro. Like, stop leaving yourself out of the equation. Because when you do that, that's the main part that's missing. And that's why the chick doesn't give you what you want, because she's not getting to know the real you. Most dudes is trying to balance or toe the line to try to make the girl comfortable, or to try to like keep shit regular, or to keep shit like nice. Like, I'm trying to be nice so she's comfortable, so we can build rapport, so she'll like me. Like you like the stuff you said when when the chick was sitting further away from you and she was turned away from you, she wouldn't look. I laugh because that's the same shit I'm saying on these dates. Like I told the chick the other day, I'm like, yo, I was like, anybody ever told you got resting bitch face?
Yeah.
I'm like, you just look like you got an issue. What's wrong with you? And I'm gonna need you to scoot a little bit closer to me too, because I don't scoot to them. You understand what I'm saying? They gotta scoot to me. Move closer to me. Oh yeah, move a little bit closer. You understand what I'm saying? And then I might put my arm around them or something like that. But and even the questions that you talked about, like those general questions.
Yeah.
I don't ask those general questions without associating it with something that I'm trying to get to with my agenda. So even if I ask you, so where's your family from? Right? No matter what country she tells me, the next thing I'm gonna say is, some of the most beautiful women is from that country, and I can see, what I'm saying, I can see the genetics like just displayed in front of me right here. You know what I'm saying? You got that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, or she say some shit like, oh, well, my dad is this and my dad is that. I'm like, that's a hell of a mix. You know what I'm saying? And I see the mix on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look at your eyes, and then I start touching her skin. And then that always leads into, so what do you use to moisturize? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm like, I'm the type of dude, I love, coconut oil and shea butter and shit like that. And then she started telling me about what she using. I'm like, yeah, whatever it is you're using, keep doing that. This is a good job. And I'm by this point, I'm caressing all up and down the arms and the legs. And you get what I'm saying? But that's my repertoire. That's what I like. Because I literally, I go get the coconut oil. I get the shea butter from my mom who lives in Ghana. Yeah. And I fucking mix and whip that shit myself with added scented oils and all that type of shit. But that's literally a part of who I am.
Right.
And that's why I talk about it. So it's like what you were saying with the poetry and with certain other things. You can't be afraid to actually talk about what you want to talk about, say what you want to say. And saying, because in most cases, man, it's like she's already on a date with you. It's really just an opportunity for you to show her exactly who you are. Not to be mean, mind you. You understand? Because there's a difference between being yourself and being mean. You understand? Because if you're naturally a cool person, all you got to do is talk.
Right.
All you have to and not talk about bullshit. Talk about what you want to talk about.
Right.
You understand? So if you're trying to make this date end up into sex, then talk about what you want to talk about and figure out ways to connect it to sex.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or figure out ways to connect it to whatever you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of guys come into the situation without any plan, without any agenda. Now, you've given a lot, right? You talked about a lot so far. And what I want to do is like, what in your opinion would be like a practical solution, to this, issue that a lot of guys have?
That's a great question. It goes back to what you were saying about them taking themselves out of the equation, because a lot of guys simply don't think they're good enough. A lot of guys literally don't think they're good enough to approach a beautiful woman or what they think is beautiful, because we have, I hate to say it, but it's the truth, we have a failure of fatherhood out here. So fathers are not really teaching their sons a lot of things they should be teaching. Right. And one of the things they should be teaching their sons is how amazing and how great and how powerful it is to be a man. I literally have a video on my YouTube channel called "Manhood is Not a Crime," because sometimes men have to be reminded of that.
Right.
There's a lot of dudes who still have the the expression in their head called "she's out of my league." They still believe that. They'll see a woman, but oh, she's out of my league. I'm not going, like, she probably only messes with ballers and ball players and all that stuff. They'll believe that, right? So in order, like, for us to really reach a solution so that guys can overcome themselves, because that's really their biggest enemy right now is themselves, they first have to understand how amazing it is to be a man. And when you're a man who starts getting accomplishments and solutions in your life, and you really start accomplishing things that you're proud of and building things and creating things you're proud of, that will increase. You should already have confidence, but that will increase your confidence even more to where you know tangibly that you can actually add something to this woman's life when you're approaching her. I can elevate this woman if she behaves, if she acts right. I love telling women. I tell women all the time, like, look, listen, I could, because like, just from talking to me a little bit, they're like, wow, you know a lot about a lot of stuff. I'm like, yeah, and I could put you on even more if you behave. Right? And they're like, if I behave, I'm like, yeah, look at you, you 5'2". I could put you on a shelf if you act up and all that stuff. Right? Like I said, I'll be saying like little jokey stuff like that, right? And because I know that even though I'm not at my peak, I know I can still elevate a lot of women's lives as I am now. As I am now, I can elevate a ton of women's lives, mentally, financially, whatever, right? So since I know who I am and what I'm capable of,
right,
I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, it's literally her loss if she doesn't, want to enter my life. If she doesn't want to be part of my company, she's literally missing out, right? I'm Google, Apple, Amazon, all the multi-trillion-dollar companies all roll into one. That's me. So if she don't want to be a part of this, if she want to go to McDonald's and work there instead, if she want to go work at Burger King and all them places instead, be free, feel free. But I'm going to be only hiring the most skilled and qualified workers to be part of my company. All right. So since I understand that, more men need to understand that. You need to understand and start treating your life like a business. That's where an agenda comes in, because every single business has an agenda. When a business is started, what is its agenda called? It's called a business plan. Our business plan is this. Our business model is this. Here's our product. Here's our service. Here's how we sell it. Here's who we plan to sell it to. Here's how we plan to scale in the next 5, 10, 20 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So once men start looking at themselves and say, hey, my life is a business, right? My life is a business, and here's what I demand of anybody who wants to be part of my business, especially any woman, any friend, any family member. If you want to be part of my business, here's what I demand. If you cannot meet those demands, that's absolutely your right. It's still a free-ish country. Not really anymore. They're trying to jab everybody up, but it's still a free-ish country. If you, right, don't want to be part of that program, I won't hire you. You can bounce. But if you do want to be part of the program, I'll hire you on a probationary status for at least 6 months. And depending on how you perform in that probationary status, then I can elevate you to a full-time employee. Then after another 6 months, then I can think about elevating you some more and some more. But you constantly got to prove yourself to me. And I'm not going to be listing out my demands either. I'm not going to be listing out like, hey, you got to do this, this, and that. Because all she'll do is be a chameleon and put on her best self for you. Right? Like women love asking all these types of questions to see how your mind works, so they can see how to best mold themselves to fit you. Right? But if you're going to mold yourself to fit me, it's got to be natural. So I'm observing you. You're not observing me. I'm observing you. Right? So I want to see how you fit in. I'm going to be taking mental notes like check, 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 mark here. Is like, here are her pros, here are her cons. Can I tolerate these cons? Yeah, I can tolerate these cons because there's no perfection. Yeah, she got these cons. I could tolerate those. But these pros right here, these pros could be useful to me. So I like these pros. I'm going to keep her around because of these pros. Stuff like that. The more guys start to think like that and start to think strategically, all right, I'm going to leave that sentence right there. And I'm going to go back to another example. There was this chick I ran into a few weeks ago, right? We talked. The conversation was good. When I approached her, the conversation was nice. I was talking. She was looking at me like, wow. We exchanged numbers. Well, I gave her my number. She hit me up right away. But I could feel that something was off. I could feel that she might have been interested in talking to me, but she was not really attracted to me. I felt that throughout the whole conversation. I felt it when she was like, yeah, some things about me, like, I like to read, I like to do this, and I like to take things slow. She said that, right? So I'm like, okay, this chick is full of it. And to really prove my thesis that she was full of it, I was like, yo, let's meet up at this place at this time on this day, on Saturday or whatever. Right. And she's like, okay, sounds like a plan, right? Now it gets to Friday. I hear nothing from her. That right there was like, okay, yes, point proven. but I'm going to see my point proven really fully tomorrow. Like, so the point was proven on Friday when she did not hit me up, right? Because usually if a chick is really interested, she's going to hit you up the day before saying, hey, are we still on for tomorrow at this time and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
She didn't do that. The day came, right? Remind you, I told her to meet me at 5 o'clock. The day came, 4:35. She hits me up. Mind you, I didn't even leave the house because I knew she wasn't going to show up.
Right.
Because that sense of mine is never wrong. That extra sense I have is never wrong. So I knew she was not going to show up. So 4:35 comes. Mind you, we're supposed to meet at 5. She hits me at 4:35 saying, oh, I just remembered I was supposed to meet you, but something came up and I can't make it. Anyway, God bless. And of course, I left it on red. I didn't even respond to that bullshit. Of course, I left it on red because I saw that coming from a mile away.
Right.
Now, some dudes probably would have tried again, like, you know what? Maybe she just, needs to be a little more comfortable. Hey, boo-boo, picnic basket. Well, maybe you get a picnic basket, make her feel more comfortable, like Yogi Bear or something, right? And then I'm like, yo, like, I could see from a mile away she was not interested. So it was no loss on my part. She lost out. I'm good because I can see it. Facts. I can see a flake from a mile away.
Facts. Nah, real shit.
An agenda.
And see, when you have not only an agenda, but you have protocol and you have a routine, like you said, how a business runs. They have their business plan. They have, their business model. You understand? Mm-hmm. It's everything. All the variables come in, and it's like, does it fit? All right, we plug it in, and then we move to the next, stage. And then we're looking at the next piece. We plug it in. All right, this don't fit. We throw that away. You know what I'm saying? And we grab the next. All right, we plug it in. All right, move to the next situation. Like that's literally how it is, because everything has to be like a, run like a factory, like what they call a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And when you understand who you are, then you can fine tune your process and get the time wasters. You could get them out of there quickly, and get the ones that are down. You get them in a position where they need to be. You understand? And even the ones that are down, some of them are only down to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. And when your game is tight, you can still you can notice how far you could take them. Right. Because you got some chicks, you can drag them, kicking and screaming, mm-hmm. and they'll always be stubborn. And then you bring them to the water and they still won't drink. Right. And then you got them girls that they're running in front of you to the water, ready to drink. Mm-hmm. And you just looking at them like, see, you know what I'm saying? When they know, and when they know, because your game is tight. You have an agenda and you have a protocol. You see, the thing is, I'm not telling every man that we need to be on code like with each other, mm-hmm. because the first thing that needs to happen is that dudes need to be on code with themselves. You understand? And that's a big part of that's a big part of the stuff that's not happening, because like we said, they take themselves out of the equation. They're trying to do everything for the female. They think that it's all about her. They think that it's all about trying to have sex with her, or to get sex from her, or for her to give him sex. And it's like, bro, sex is not something that somebody gives you. You have sex with somebody.
Mutual exchange, yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But Ed, I gotta stop it right here, man.
Oh damn!
I know. I gotta stop it right here. I purposely want to keep these short, because you the type of dude that everything that come out of your fucking mouth is a gem. You understand?
Damn. Appreciate it, man.
These dudes don't really deserve you like that. So I want to keep these videos short, and I want the sizzle to build up. You get what I'm saying? But we're gonna do another one very, very quickly. Okay?
Much respect, man. Like I said, people are asking about my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's Ed Zone. The links are in the comments. Like the links are in the chat. It's Ed Zone, EDDs. My favorite titty size. Now, actually I like triple D, but EDD Zone on YouTube. And like I said, my channel it covers. It's basically about self-improvement. So I talk about dating, dynamics between men and women. I also give a lot of nutrition tips.
I was just noticing that you have a nutrition series that's on right now.
Yes.
And he's talking about 2 ways to improve your digestion and all that. Now, so yo, guys, go over there, subscribe to my man Ed Zone. We got more of these coming. Because me and Ed, we've been corresponding behind the scenes for years. And like now that I have like a decent type platform, it's a good time for us to really get some collaborations going, and that's what we're gonna do. But like I said, I ain't trying to let you give all the game in just one video. These
I
niggas
feel you, brother.
they got a sub.
Sometimes you gotta reel it back. You gotta
reel it back in. You know, just like with these hoes. You feel me?
Hey, listen, exactly. Hey, yo, one of the laws of power, right? One of the 48 laws of power. Let them feel your absence,
nigga. You see, stop. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Yo, that's it, man. Shout out to
you shut the fuck up, man.
Shout out to everybody for tuning in, because you trying to give away the whole shit. That's the thing.
Yeah. I'm a generous guy at times, yo. I'm a generous guy. I'm in a generous mood today, son.
Yeah, you see, for hanging out with us, everybody in the chat, you know what I'm saying, all the moderators and everything, you know, anything else you want to plug before we get off real quick?
Like I said, I also got my website, you know, where I got hoodies from, you know, I got stuff for men, women, and children. You know, hoodie season is coming up. I got some dope ass hoodies. All you got to do is type hoodie. Go to my website, normalbrands.com, type in hoodie, and all types of dope hoodies will come in. Quality stuff, not made in China, none of that bullshit. I'm not going to do that to you. Like, it's quality stuff, durable. The print on it does not fade, right? So check it out. You're going to love it. It's going to be well worth the price. Check out normalbrands.com. And I'm about to have a whole bunch of nice sales running too. So stay tuned.
All right, cool, man. We're gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys for damn, I think I spelled it wrong. It's NORMAL.
Yeah, you got it. Oh yeah, with a Z. There's a D in there. Like, yeah, brands.
Right. Brands.
Yeah.
Let me see. Normal. Hold on. All right, cool. That's on there. All right, guys. We out of here, and always remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.